Dumelang, sanibonani, nda, ndimacheroni, molweni. Welcome and greetings to all of you, brothers and sisters. All praises, honor, and glory to our Father, Modimo wa Abrahami, Isaka, and Yakobi, the Most High, Sonini Nanini, Umdali wamazulu nomhlaba. Greetings to all the Bantu brothers and sisters in Africa and in the diaspora. Greetings to the gentilia as well, as they are part of the children of the seed, if they keep the Most High's commandments and keep the faith. Welcome to all subscribers, and also a special welcome to the new subscribers. I pray that the Most High continue to share His light upon all of us, so that we can change our lives for the better through obedience of the law, through faith that Mopholis, Umkhululi, Msindisi died for all of us, so we can have hope and be in the favor of our Father. Thank you for your comments and for sharing the videos as you have indicated in your emails and also in your comments. And please, I encourage you, brothers and sisters, to continue to share these videos and to like the videos. And as already indicated in the past, I will try my best to respond to all the questions and to all the queries and questions and comments. And where I fall short, brothers and sisters, please, through your own effort, through prayer and fasting, seek that you be filled by the Most High. The title of this video is Ubuntu, Bantu, as sharing and as an awakening. Kindly take note that Ubuntu is the concept or the phenomenon in isiXhosa, which is a Bantu dialect of South Africa. The equivalent of Ubuntu in another Bantu dialect in South Africa, Sesotho or Setswana, is Bantu. So I will be using Ubuntu and Bantu interchangeably because they reflect the same concept, same content, same philosophical basis, same trait, same characteristics. I will begin this video by sharing with you what Utata Mandela, the former president of South Africa, immediately after the end or the demise of the apartheid government. Let us now take a look and hear what Utata Mandela says he understands by Ubuntu. It is a very short clip, ladies and gentlemen, almost less than a minute. Let us please take a listen.
Many people regard you as a personification of Ubuntu. What do you understand Ubuntu to be?
In the old days when we were young, a traveler through a country would stop at a village and he didn't have to ask for food or for water. Once he stops, the people give him food, entertain him. That is one aspect of Ubuntu, but it will have various aspects.
As we continue to have this discussion and engagement, brothers and sisters, let us have at the back of our minds what Utata Mandela has shared insofar as his conception of what Ubuntu entails. This image that you see before you is an image that depicts the arrival of the white settlers at the Cape in South Africa. I recommend that you spend some time and hear how Johnny John and Brother Robert Heatley submit as their case that the current Cape Town, so named, is actually Capernaum, which is the fishing village where Mopholis, Msindisi, did his miracles. Cape Town, if you live in South Africa, is a well-known fishing location. On this image, there are two sets or two groups. One is the white European settlers with their ships on their backs and being led by Jan van Riebeeck. The second group are the native Bantus of the land who welcomed the strangers to their land. The timeline of the landing of the white settlers at the Cape is 1652. The receiving Bantu natives of the land, from the image alone, one can tell that they were at home and quite at peace. And if you look at the Bantu princess having a baby behind her back, you can tell that there was indeed a high level of peace and relaxation on the part of this folk. On the other hand, our brothers, I will call them brothers because Esau is indeed the brother of Jacob, who is our father. Now, his descendants, as you can see from this image, cannot be said to be or to have been in peace or at peace at all. They had guns. And when you see guns, you know that that person is ready for war. I agree 100% with Utata Mandela that the Bantu, when they receive strangers, they receive them with an open heart. And they satisfy their needs for food or for shelter in their village. However, it is important to draw the line here, that Utata draws the line and gives a context. And that context is in the olden days and also in the village. It is my submission, brothers and sisters, that Ubuntu has been destroyed. Ubuntu has been completely annihilated. It cannot be able to find any place in the world that we live in the townships, in the suburbs, in the squatter camp, everywhere where we live. When we received and welcomed the strangers under Jan van Riebeeck, notwithstanding the fact that they came with guns, and you could tell that they had come to stay. And if you look at the baggage that they carried. They were not here for a visit. They were here to stay for a very long time. What the Bantu brother did is to receive them with Ubuntu. That is how we received them. Kabotu. Of course, brothers and sisters, the Bantu would not have known who were giving such a warm welcome to. It is a known fact that Jan van Riebeck, whoever he is in this picture, was a criminal who was convicted as a criminal under Dutch law. He came from Duitsland, that's Holland. It's a European country. And he came to our land and was received kabotu, with Ubuntu, notwithstanding the fact that he was a convicted criminal. No wonder the state that South Africa finds itself in, as far as the Bantu child is concerned, is what it is today. This brings us to the statement that was made some years ago by Ndade Jomo Kenyatta, who is the late president of Kenya, who was very well known as an anti-colonial activist. He was subsequently the president of Kenya from 1964 until his death in 1978. This is what Jomo Kenyatta said. When the missionaries arrived, the Africans had the land and the missionaries had the Bible. They taught us how to pray with our eyes closed. When we opened them, they had the land and we had the Bible. Jomo Kenyatta. The words of Ndade Jomo Kenyatta, the president of Kenya, they ring loudly in my ear, and they do for many of Bantu children today, on how our Bantu history, which in essence is the Bible, was distorted, was tampered with, extracts, precepts removed, and some precepts and a lot of things added to it, that alone being a sin in itself. These were all done to achieve a devious end. I digress. Of course, this is not the focus, but it is good to mention it, that it is very unfortunate that our Bantu brothers also hold the view that the Bible, having been tampered and distorted the way it has by the Catholic Church and by Mosweu, Esau's descendants, that we don't view or see or regard this book, which is the word of the Most High, as being the history of the Bantu child, with the promises that the Most High had made to our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This we can actually discuss in a different setting, brothers and sisters, because our focus is Ubuntu as sharing and as an awakening of the Bantu child. Now let us deal with the question, what is Ubuntu? what is Bantu? If you have lived amongst the amaXhosa, they will tell you, isiXhosa asitolikwa. This means that the isiXhosa language cannot be translated. Ordinarily, Ubuntu would mean humanity. But what they mean when they say isiXhosa asitolikwa, it means that you will not be able to translate Ubuntu and make it humanity. But I think it is important for us to be able to share the concept or the phenomenon, brothers and sisters, so that at least you can be able to have an understanding of what this phenomenon or concept entails. The concept of Ubuntu, brothers and sisters, can be captured by making reference to two maxims. One in isiXhosa and the other one in Setswana. In isiXhosa or isiZulu, which is basically the Nguni dialects, umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu. In Sesotho or Setswana, the same maxim, umuntu ngubuntu ngabantu, can be said to entail motho ke motho ka batho ba bang. Motho ke motho ka batho ba bang. Now, these are equivalents in isiZulu, isiXhosa, and in Setswana or Sesotho. Now, as indicated, brothers and sisters, it is very difficult to translate these into any other language other than a Bantu language. But in short, these two maxims, they mean that a human being is a human being through others. Ask any Bantu child. He or she will fondly and proudly share that Ubuntu Bantu entails kindness that you show to your fellow human beings, your fellow brothers and sisters, love that you show, respect that you show, sharing what you have with another that does not have. That is Bantu. Of course, the concept, brothers and sisters, by the state of affairs in our current worldly lives, where Esau, Moswewu, is in charge, you find that Ubuntu is limited. It is for that reason, brothers and sisters, I hold the view that the full realization of Ubuntu, it is only possible when we are in the kingdom and we have made it and we have run the race to its full. Only in the kingdom, brothers and sisters, can the full realization of Ubuntu be manifest. And the reason why I'm saying that, brothers and sisters, is because in the kingdom, the dynamics that will be at play will be those to be regulated in terms of the laws of the Most High, where we would be loving our Father with all our hearts, with all our minds, and with all our souls, through nothing but just keeping His commandments, laws, and statutes. And of course, equally to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. This is how Ubuntu can be fully realized. And I don't see it happening in the world of Esau, in the world of the adversary of the Most High. But with the little that we have, the Bantu child needs to practice and practice and practice Ubuntu by sharing kindness, by sharing love, by sharing patience, by sharing kindness to his fellow Bantu brother or sister. This will definitely a demonstration that we are still Bantu children, notwithstanding the fact that we have been destroyed. Because Ubuntu distinguishes us from all nations, from all other people. It is a distinguishing characteristic, a distinguishing trait of the Bantu child, which he or she cannot be able to remove himself from. It is part of what makes the child a Bantu child. Brothers and sisters, one needs to know and appreciate that Ubuntu Ubuntu is a Bantu concept, not unique only to South Africa, but rather common amongst the Bantu all over Africa. We have dealt with the first two dialects, isiXhosa and Sesotho or Setswana. In Shona, there are two maxims that I want to share to demonstrate that indeed Ubuntu is not a concept that is unique to South Africa, but to the Bantu children, the children of the seed. In Shona, the essence of Ubuntu is captured in two maxims. Please forgive any mispronunciation that you may detect from my reading. There is no malice intended. Munu, Nunu, Nevanu. This is Shona language for a person through other people. The second is like it. Dinekuti Diri. It means I am because we are. Now this is Shona, which is a language spoken by a majority of Zimbabweans, our Bantu brothers. Over and above isiXhosa and isiSotho, we have Shona also depicting and giving the essence of Ubuntu in a very similar fashion. Let me share, brothers and sisters, my reservations and my serious concerns. As a matter of fact, total distaste, and please bear with me, that truth needs to be told so that we can be free. Ubuntu has now been diluted. It has now lost its significance. It has now lost its true nature of sharing and respect, as already portrayed by Utata Mandela and as reflected by the Bantu children of the seed when they received the first group of white settlers under the convicted criminal John van Riebeeck. Ubuntu is now depicted as a bond or the holding of hands of the rainbow nation by all in South Africa, black or white, colored, Indian, European, or Bantu. You can see here is our white Caucasian brother, and here is our black Bantu brother. Now this is what entails Ubuntu in the current dispensation. For me, this is an opportunistic way of dismantling the phenomenon of Ubuntu, the concept of Ubuntu, the actual nature and content of what Ubuntu entails. Ubuntu is now depicted as the mere holding of hands, and nobody, brothers and sisters, is talking about sharing and respect for a human being, as Utata had ably shared, as being the essence of Ubuntu. But as you can see, brothers and sisters, just from this image alone, as long as the white hand is on top and the black hand is at the bottom, this is how we need to be able to live with each other in peace, in love, in kindness, and in the spirit of Ubuntu. This is now the state of affairs. The question that each Bantu child will ask himself or herself, which is basically based on the reality that we find ourselves in. If Ubuntu, as Utata Mandela had indicated, is about sharing, is about love, is about kindness, is about peace, is about respect, how then do you explain this current state of affairs? If you go to Cape Town, you will find that there are two worlds there. This is the world of the white people, Esau, the ones that are on top. It's not a coincidence, brothers and sisters. And this is the life or the world of the Bantu child, notwithstanding the fact that these two need to be a rainbow nation. They need to hold hands, and this is Ubuntu. Ubuntu within this particular concept, which these children of the seed will need to accept and live under, that indeed Basweu, the descendants of Esau, are rightfully in the place of being on top of the children of the sea. This, brothers and sisters, is a true and existent state of affairs in South Africa, in our beloved land. A big chunk of almost 90% of arable land is owned by the descendants of Esau, Basweu, whilst the children of the seed, the children of Jacobi, have been given possession of the remaining 10% to share through Ubuntu amongst themselves. What a fallacy. What a disgrace that we live under. This is where our Ubuntu has been placed. But all praise is to the Most High. With our awakening, we now know that credit is not due to Esau's descendants, Basweu, but rather to our Father who put us in the position we find ourselves in today, of absolute poverty, deprivation, and immorality, even after he had warned us in Deuteronomy 28, that if you don't obey my commandments, you will be cursed. But if you obey my commandments, laws, statutes, I will bless you. The news are saying it all, brothers and sisters. This is a Jewish report. Now, Jewish because it's not a real Jew. It's somebody who sounds or looks Jewish. Now, this Jewish report confirms that 5 of the UK's richest are Jewish and South African. Now, we know who say they are Jews but are not. We know who those are. If you go to Revelation 1, you'll be able to see, Revelation chapter 1, who these people are. These are the people who are confirmed in the United Kingdom as being the richest. Those who are Jewish, and they so happen to be South African. What a coincidence. But nevertheless, we also have a Bantu brother, Julius Malema, who is the leader of the Economic Freedom Front, who has been very vocal about the land which we have lost, which we had given away through Ubuntu. Of course, he's not going to be saying that. But he is indeed vocal about the state of affairs of the Bantu child in South Africa, how he finds himself in a state of loss of land, loss of riches. To who? To the descendants of Esau Baswiu. Now, I've had the benefit, brothers and sisters, of watching some videos by our Bantu brothers where it is mentioned that Ubuntu is a particular form of African spirituality, which I don't deny. However, I deny the fact that it originates from Egypt. I disagree. Ubuntu is the trait of a Bantu child. It's the trait of the children of the seed. It is a trait of the children of Yakobi. It is the trait that distinguishes them from everybody else. It is not a wonder that Esau knew about it and was able to abuse it and to take advantage over the Bantu child. Now, to demonstrate that point, if you go to Genesis chapter 18, verse 1 to 4, it reads, "And the Most High appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre, and he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day. And he lifted up his eyes, and looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door, and bowed himself toward the ground, and said, My Lord, if now I have found favor in thy spirit, pass not away, I pray thee, from thy servant. Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree. This is our Bantu father, Abraham, showing Ubuntu to a stranger, somebody he did not know. He gave him respect, he gave him love, he gave him kindness, he shared what he had with them. That is the Ubuntu of the Bantu child that Utata Mandela was talking about. I don't see how that has got anything to do with originating from Egypt. Let us go again to another example These are the only two examples that I'm sharing with you, brothers and sisters, but there is a lot more. Matthew chapter 25, verse 35 to 40. For I was an hungered, and ye gave me meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. Naked, and ye clothed me. I was sick, and ye visited me. I was in prison, and ye came unto me. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee an hungered, and fed thee, or thirsty, and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger, and took thee in, or naked, and clothed thee? Or when saw we thee sick, or in prison, and came unto thee? And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, ye have done it unto me. This is Mopholis, Msindisi, Umkhululi, talking to the disciples, telling them about how to share, how to love, how to respect, how to give. That is Ubuntu at its best, brothers and sisters. And now if you ask me the question, or if you ask Utata Mandela the question, the answer that I would expect and the answer that I would answer on his behalf is that the children of the seed are indeed the personification of Ubuntu. And Msindisi, Mopholis, Umkhululi is the chief cornerstone of Ubuntu. Thank you so much for listening. Bula, nala, bula, aene. Until next time, please like the video, share the video. Thank you.